There was a guy held up at our convenience store. It was something we ain't never seen before. He asked for nuts and bolts and washers and some more. He was a robot and his mother's goddamn whore. We're on air.
Right on.
Yeah. Yeah, we're on air. That was pretty damn quick, wasn't it? I said it was quick. It would be quick. Not that I'm usually quick about anything. Like, I didn't even post that last show, man. What the hell? I got some kind of problem.
Yeah, it's hard to work like that.
I mean, I ain't even share it. I ain't even, like, say, hey, look, we're doing something. Hey, people, over here. Look. Not once did I say, come look, people. We had Chad Huffman in the last show chatting with us. Maybe get some other people this time. I don't know. Never knew.
So apparently Bill O'Reilly likes to call up female co-workers and pound his pud.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a little something about that. I don't know. My publisher got a hold of me and they said, hey, Bill O'Reilly likes to, like, dingle his dangle. And
$13 million they paid out in fucking settlements to co-workers he harassed.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. I'm not going to touch that one. Not going to touch it. Bill O'Reilly, you dirty noodle.
Oh, yeah.
There was a governor here recently. He sent a dirty message to his wife that was meant to go to his mistress. And it was like the worst shit. It was like, when I stand behind you and when I stand behind you and I feel your breasts, I just, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? When I stand behind you and I feel your breasts and just totally turned on, my tingler just tingles.
Well, in his defense, when I stand
in his defense,
her breast, it arouses me too.
Oh, the protagonist. See, we gotta have the protagonist.
Now, mind you, I've never ever done it to a coworker.
Oh, right.
Or as, somebody who would view me as, the governor.
His was the intern. It was an intern, so that counts.
The governor.
I want some interns. What the hell? We haven't had a woman in our bed in years.
Interns are awesome.
We need
They're
some fucking interns, Hot Lips. What the hell?
We
haven't had a woman in our bed in years. We need an intern, Hot Lips.
All the women I've met are scandalous.
Scandalous women aren't allowed. You want to come and
meet
commingle.
Skanky Rachel. You should meet Skanky Rachel.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the
That's
name.
the
name's throwing me off.
Rachel, I'm good.
That's throwing me off. She's got a great nickname.
Yeah.
No, that's the nickname I give her.
Oh.
She wanted me to call her cunt, but I call her skank.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to add that chick to my itinerary. Well, maybe. What else you got to offer, Joe?
Well, I mean, we could fist fight it out. She sounds like somebody that would cause troubles where I'd want to punch her. Just by
She likes to talk dirty on the internet and answer questions.
Well, what kind of questions?
Anything you ask her, anything, she'll answer.
Do your nipples lactate?
Well, you'd have to ask her.
No, but see, I could keep her, like, she's afraid, like, if I was to build an account and make my account look like I was the greatest, thing next to sliced bread. And then I send her the message and go, you know, do your nipples lactate? She is going to argue with herself over whether she says yes or no for hours, days, and weeks in fear that saying the wrong answer is going to ixnay her from my inner circle.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
I mean...
Like, I asked her how big her dildo was and if she liked to get fisted.
Oh my god.
But because I'm shy, I didn't say they were from me. I said they were from this religious guy, Kurt Green's got a show on Spreaker.
Did we happen to say that this evening's broadcast is brought to you by Crown Royal? Brought to you by Crown Royal. Yes, Crown Royal. The blended Canadian whiskey from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Joe. I love you, Joe.
You sure it's not from Alberta?
It's right on the bottle, bro. I'm sorry.
From Toronto?
You trying to kick it down?
Yeah.
No, I just thought that I thought they made it over. So.
Trying to, kick it down.
They're wanting a drink to that, Joe. Oh, I will warn you, Joe. I'm drinking the Crown Royal Fine Deluxe, the blended Canadian whiskey from Toronto, Ontario, and Canada. 3 places in Canada. I didn't even know I did such crazy things.
We got it for my birthday on Sunday and haven't drank it yet, so now we're drinking it.
Happy birthday, Hot Lips!
Woohoo!
You nasty bitch.
I know, and I'm getting to be an old nasty bitch.
She is an old nasty bitch.
There you go.
I love that old nasty bitch. I'll tell you that right now.
That's
boy.
right, I'm your old nasty bitch.
Slap her around like a mattress and just cuddle with her like big fluffy pillows. So, how's that sports score doing? What do we got, Joe?
The Rangers won 2-0.
Oh, shit.
Boston won 2-1.
Boston 2-1. Oh, you motherfuckers lost your money.
Pittsburgh won 3-0, I think.
Pittsburgh, oh, shit.
And that's it for now. That's all the scores I got.
Big shout to Scrubcast and Suicide Saints out there in Pennsylvania. Your team just won, motherfuckers, even though you don't care. Yeah, even though you don't care, they won anyway. Woo!
Right on.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you don't care about football, your team might win anyway.
Well, that would be hockey.
Oh, shit. Whiskey, bro. It's a hell of a drug. Whiskey, bro.
Right on.
And also brought to you by Boulevard Wheat Unfiltered. Boulevard Brewing Company. They don't want you to know where they're at. Because they might just, not want you at the door, looking for more for free. Okay, it's in Kansas City, Missouri. Support local by Boulevard Wheat. Yeah, my Boulevard Wheat, man. I enjoy a good fucking high-octane microbrew, and it's good that some of these companies, really took that on and started making them. They didn't exist 10 years ago, and now I am the happiest fucking man next to a dog turd on a lawn. More octane! Less fill! Better flavor. They're the microbrews of America. They're going on right now in your backyard in some distillery, and they're wanting you to rub it all over your hot nipples. No? That didn't work for you? I'm trying to get you to laugh, Angry Bong.
Well,
You're seeming a bit.
Every time I try to say anything, you cut me off.
Oh, okay.
I just not haven't been saying anything. So you're not listening to me anyway, so you got your own thing going on there, your own conversation going on, so I can't follow. I'm just following along with you.
Whiskey's a hell of a drug. Tis whiskey's a hell of a drug.
It's my favorite drug.
You did just give us the sports scores, man. That's important. Important sports scores. But no. Trump. Oh my God. Dude, there's so much to talk about that there's nothing to talk about.
Well,
I mean, literally, there's just so much shit.
I don't know what's going on with North Korea. I don't see it any different over there than it's been. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to invade them, and he's going to wipe out South Korea if you fire on him. He's got enough weapons pointed at South Korea and Japan to kill millions of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They trunch into his area, dude. You might as well just kiss South Korea goodbye, dude. Everything he's got's pointed at South Korea.
Well, there's definitely something going on there with the Chinese, because it wasn't that long ago that he killed his brother. And that brother that he murdered there in the airport, which got the girls to spray the poison in his face, that guy was known to be the Chinese government's choice to succeed that guy, to succeed him in Korea. So now the Chinese have 150,000 troops on their border with North Korea, and everybody's reading it as a threat to the United States, and I don't see it that way at all. I see it as a threat to him. Right?
I see that as a threat to him.
Because everybody's seeing it as a threat to the United States because of what happened in Korea.
No. Okay. Let's go back into Chinese culture. Okay. Anybody that I don't know. I had traditional martial arts taught to me, which my sensei demanded that I work in a Korean facility and know Korean people in order to be able to learn their ways and their culture and their lifestyle and all that shit when I was training for Chicago. So when I was doing all this, you know, obviously as a martial artist, I'm looking at it as, you know, the social aspect of the environment that I'm in. But I also looked at it as, you know, all the other levels, the economic and how they portrayed us by how they interacted with me and other people that were other just general Americans that came into their shop. And dude, they were so open to anybody that walked through the door. You get what I'm saying? So all of the other freaking governmental rhetoric to me as far as Korea, North Korea, South Korea, whatever, my opinion of Korean philosophy and the way that they live their lives is cohabitively peaceful. Now, this isn't the lump sum that I would consider North Korea, where we have a dictatorship. The guy is obviously on a power trip. He's under pressure because he's got all these elder aides that know better. And, you know, honestly, I would hate to be him. I would hate to be the leader of North Korea. You know why? Because he isn't really got his own life. He's having to like walk a line between shit that was chosen for him. And on one side, you've got sociopathic, tyrannical leaders, which are like generals and admirals and shit like that. Anyway, you get the point. Versus him, who is like, honestly, whenever I look at him up there, I see an Americanized teenage kid that is stuck between what is expected of those that would kill him if he doesn't do what they say, and those are the people where he tries to balance some kind of semblance of giving a shit. So I honestly, empathy-wise, I feel for him, the leader of North Korea, because I think a lot of that shit that's going on there is being invoked by the senior leadership that are guiding him, not him, and that he's really more a prisoner in his position because and the murdering of XYZ, I don't even think, like with his brother thing, I don't even think that was him. What's the deal with his sister? Have you heard anything about his sister? Because when he went missing for a while, he went incognito. His sister was running everything. I mean...
Yeah. I don't know.
I think him and his sister are just puppet heads, dude. It's not really him and his sister that are doing all that. I think they're like abused kids. I think they're like abused kids that are being controlled by auntie and uncle.
Mm.
But that's just my opinion. But our point with China going in there was your point. And, dude, I agree with you 100%. And I don't think it's so much him. I think China knows. I think China knows that it's not him. That it's actually these other individuals are actually controlling everything. Because, as you know as well as I do, in a good scenario where there is a criminal element controlling shit, you have a puppet frontman, and all of the criminal shit and acts and the calls and the orders are actually coming from a layer just behind the onion. And I don't think anyone in the world in power is stupid to that philosophy that the president, aka the dictator, whatever, is the actual head man, unless it's a full-blown dictatorship, which North Korea is not. North Korea is not a full-blown dictatorship. If it was a full-blown dictatorship, he wouldn't be answering to a panel of anybody. He'd be like, no, fuck you, and kill all of them. If I was him, the day that I took office, I would have killed all of my frickin' father's aides. They would have all been dead. Every last one of them. Because that's the situation you're thrown into. It's not like he asked to be born in. Well, he probably did, to have the experience. But, he was born into that experience, and now he's trapped between a wall of civility and a wall of tyranny. And that's the role that he's forced to play, because that's the cards that he's handed because of his lineage, not because of who he was born. It's because of his lineage. So I like to look outside the box on that kind of shit. I would say that the deal, and this is what I said to Hot Lips earlier, is that I think this is all a ruse. China, in every major war or conflict that we've been involved with them, has always been a background player. Vietnam, Korea, for example. So I could see that they could establish some kind of agreement with North Korea under threat, even with the coal issue, as you pointed out in the last episode, that they provide coal to China. They could cut them off of oil, and that could work, if they pose that threat. Because honestly, there isn't that much. Oh my God, bro! Shit just clicked 15 times. U.S. coal industry. Oh my.
Say what?
Holy fuck. Okay, Trump is trying to push a coal industry which is already dying because our renewable fuels are much more cost efficient now than they ever were. And coal is basically hydrocarbons, which are the carbons that killed the dinosaurs, but they're trapped in fucking coal in a solid mass, so it's not hurting us. But once we use the coal, it kills us because it gets released into the air. So, scientifically, that's the deal with the coal. But the point here is that if North Korea says, no, fuck you, and we'll just cut off your coal, why would... Dude, Trump he's got fucking huge investments in coal here in the United States.
And oil.
He's thrown all of his fucking chips on the coal industry, which even the coal professionals have said, no, dude, this is dying because it's not efficient and it's deadly. It's not only killing our workers, but it's killing the environment.
The whole industry.
But the point here is, hold on, is that now pushing the coal industry in the United States, which, by the way, only employs what?
76,000 people, less than Arby's,
Less than one Arby's franchise. Okay, so Trump is saving the world in jobs by making these coal jobs that are dying because there's more affordable economic shit. What is the answer? There's got to be a motive, right? Just like in a murder. Well, here's our motive. If China goes after North Korea and they say, no, we're going to cut off your oil, and North Korea goes, no, fuck you, we'll cut off your coal because you could still, like retards, have inefficient coal plants, China's going to go, no, fuck you, Trump has already given us coal, you son of a bitch. We're going to fucking march in there ourselves and take this shit over and make this right. That's what the fuck is going on, because that's another thing. If you look at playbooks, and I like to put war with sports. Yeah. War with sports. War with sports would say China has not won a war in 1,000 years.
300.
Whatever. No, a war that they were involved with legitimately. They were not legitimately involved in Vietnam. They were not legitimately involved in Korea. They were backdoor suppliers.
That's only within the last 100.
That's not exactly true about Korea.
Really?
Yeah, when Korea first happened, the North Koreans invaded South Korea and almost had the South Koreans beat when the United Nations force showed up, MacArthur and them, and they fought, and they were getting beat, and then MacArthur pulled an end around on them and did a landing at a place called Incheon behind the front line and cut the
Oh, Joe, I am loving you right now.
North Korea is a peninsula, right? So he cut the North Korean army off, below. So he had them on the run, and when he got to North Korea, the Chinese issued a warning for him not to cross, I believe it's the Yangtze River. I could be wrong. No, I think not the Yangtze. Well, whatever river it is in Northern Korea, the Chinese told him, don't cross that river because we'll view you as a hostile army on our border. And MacArthur went across it anyway, and when he did, the Chinese had put 100,000 soldiers or so through the mountains and attacked the Americans, attacked the UN forces, and then drove them back down and almost took Seoul, and then they evened back out to pretty well where the war started. That's where the ceasefire still is today. So the Koreans were beat, and the Chinese entered the war with their own army. And then the second half, it was the Americans, UN versus Chinese soldiers.
Interesting.
And I don't know how involved they were in Vietnam. I think the Russians were bigger backers in Vietnam than the Chinese. The Chinese and the Russians were at bad terms at that time because they've had a lot of conflicts along their own borders because they share so much through Mongolia and stuff. So.
Well, thank you, Joe, for that bit of history. And scratching us up on the reality.
My grandfather Weatherby never went to Korea. He gets sent to Edmonton military prison for 3 years because he refused to go. He was a World War II vet, and when he came home, they tried to make a bunch of them re-up, and he wouldn't go. And him and 3 or 4 other guys went and lived in the woods, and they got caught, and they got sent to. He got sentenced to 3 years, and he only served about 6 months because he was a World War II vet, and they let them out.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, there was a whole slew of them from Spring Hill that World War II vets wouldn't go to Korea. Like today, they call that post-traumatic stress and stuff, bud. You know?
Right.
They brought them guys home and sent them home. See you later. Thanks. Here, you want to keep your gun?
See ya.
You want to keep your war rifle? In Canada, they let them take their rifle with them.
No shit. Man.
You feeling a little shell shock, bud?
That makes me feel like if I had relived my life, I would go join the French Foreign Legion.
Oh, that's that. For anything I've ever read or seen about that seemed like a great place to be.
Well, police action throughout the world, and you learn 3 languages in order to.
Oh yeah, looked awesome in Algeria. Looked like they had a great time. All this marching around the desert, fucking Arabs attacking you all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, aren't you just on a game hunt? I mean, really? I mean, it would be like going on a paid trip to just game hunt.
We live in the best time in history that it's ever been to live. We've got, it's easier, there's more to eat. Medical science is at its best. Technology, we could travel. You know what I mean? Information's at our finger. Look at what we're doing right now. Best time ever in history to live. All that stuff, people look back and they like to remember the good old days. Fuck that. It's just like when you think back when you were in jail. You remember the good times you had. You don't remember the shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, you just remember
you
just remember the good days.
Yeah, so we like to look back and think, oh, it'd be great, all that game, and I'd be out hunting.
You know what my best day was in prison?
Day that yo.
Oh, you're a wise man, Angry Bong. Honestly, I would say one of my best moments was when I took on the entire squad. Maced. I couldn't see. They did come into my cell, mace me, pull me out, drag me, But as soon as they got me into the galley, I just started elbowing and shouldering them left and right, and I dropped the shift captain. I fucking dropped 3 or 4 of them, dude. They were so pissed they bashed my head on 15 objects afterward. But
I was gonna say, did they change their mind?
I embraced it. I was a man, and I fucked that whole group of people up, handcuffed. That, to me, And that was before I got out of prison and trained for martial arts. But, dude, I fucked them up, which was beautiful. And, you know, I didn't kill anybody. I just beat their asses with my shoulders. It was pretty epic. But yeah, that would have to be my capillary moment in the joint.
Capillary, huh?
Yeah, the one where you have the aneurysm from holding the hit in too long and it bursts off the side of your forehead. That was my moment. And after that, I just kind of laid down and went, yep, I got my wings, man. That's all I needed. I just took out the whole fucking shift captain and all of his goons, and the whole galley fucking saw it. The prison will be murmuring about this for years. And, yeah, that was some good shit. You know, that's the thing. When you're in your 20s, dude, you have that do or die, you know. They're going to kill you or you're going to do what you do, you know. And I just did what I did. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying I embraced that moment where I dropped every fucking one of them and their fascist fucking asses. Because to me, prison is fascism. You know, they could teach people to be better people, but which is what prisons are meant to do, but they don't do any of that, which makes it all a hypocrisy. So it's just to perpetuate their freaking money scam they got going on. You go in, you do 5 years, you go out, you come back thinking you're a badass, and you do 10.
See, the whole concept of prison is that if you make somebody go to prison and serve their time, that punishment will be a deterrent. But those ideals are thought up by reasonable men who look at it as Jesus. If I had to go to prison for 5 years,
exactly,
I would never do that again.
I'm not going to harbor hatred and anger and fucking rape the entire fucking world when they let me out.
That don't factor in.
They don't think about the logic of somebody that's tortured.
Well, that people are human and everybody's different. And the road that took you to prison is different than the road that took your cellmate to prison. And your upbringing and, you know, all the different factors that make everybody their own person. Right? You know, you can't black and white that. Like, it's impossible to perceive that. Right? So
that's true, man. I mean, I talked to some people in there and asked them what they were in for, which is like something that you don't do right away. That's something you do after you get to know them a little bit, and Then you go, what are you in for? And, dude, just some fucking crazy shit, bro. There was a guy in there for 10 years. Get this shit. Okay, wait. I'm going to tell you some good prison stories. These are funny. Okay. I'll even start with him. So, anyway, I get to know him. He's a pretty good kid, dude. He's just misguided and probably had absent parents. You know what I mean? And I could tell that. I've been studying psychology since I was 14. So, I used that when I was in prison. That's how I survived. But, anyway, so using my psychology to survive in prison, I took in all the waywards, you know what I mean, and used them as a shield, if you will, of false defense for themselves as well as myself. So it actually protected us all, which was really cool. The psychology worked. But anyway, the point being is that this one guy, and he's like explaining, he didn't have money for a bag of weed. And he really needed weed because he's got anxiety disorders and all this other shit. And this is why I go back. Why isn't this shit legal, dude? Because nobody's dying from the shit. But anyway, so dude needs a bag of weed, and he has no money. He can't get a job because he's economically unviable. He's been blacklisted by local business communities because he's a 20-something. Or 18-something, I believe. But anyway, so he decides there's this woman's house where she collects all of her cans and she just throws them on her front porch. So he goes and he steals all the cans from the front porch. And then as he's stealing cans from the back porch, which was locked, the back porch was locked. He broke into the back porch to get the back bags. And as he's like loading all this shit up, the police roll up. He runs through the field. He's got 2 bags in his hands, bro. Like, homie's running through the field with 2 bags of pop cans. You get what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Dude, they fucking catch him on the other side of the fucking woods, you know? Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, genius. So, yeah, he ended up getting 10 years for that, bro. 10 years! Because a young guy who had anxiety needed some weed. And, yeah, I don't agree with the fact that he stole pop cans. It's not Fallout 4, right? But, I mean, yes, it is! Shoot the old lady! Then she can't call the cops! Bottle caps, not bottle tabs. Those are the wrong fucking things! How are you gonna bring me cans of fucking bags of cans? I wanted bottle tops, you son of a bitch, you stupid motherfucker. Anyway. It just blows my mind, bro. There was another guy doing 10 years just for having possession of a fucking shotgun in his car without a permit, and he was black.
Wow.
10 years. Black guy, no permit, shotgun. 10 years. Bam!
Yeah, they got a pretty cool governor of Maine there right now, man. That guy, he's racist as all fuck, the governor of Maine.
Yeah, I saw some of the shit he's
What?
doing. It's crazy.
He lies through his fucking teeth and everything.
The governor of Maine right now is the one that sold all the water to Nestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said,
This last year.
Yeah, Maine's not going to handle that shit because it's a bunch of rednecks. They're going to fucking oust his ass. I'm sure that's going to happen.
He said that when he was making welfare cuts there a year or 2 ago, he said that he got all these drug dealers coming in from out of state named Biggie and Shorty, selling drugs and leaving behind mixed race babies. And
I could see that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, holy fuck.
To a degree. I could see that.
So the reason that you got to make cuts to the Maine welfare is because out-of-state drug dealers come into Maine to sell their drugs and knock up the white girls and then fuck off. That's basically what he's saying.
That's pretty crazy, dude.
That's doesn't say much for the white girls.
No, doesn't that go back to your fucking border control? That would be what I would be saying.
What does that say about the white girls that grow up in Maine? It says that as soon as they see some out-of-state black guys, they're sucking their dicks for coke.
Well, I don't think they're sucking their dicks. They're fucking riding their dicks for
You're
coke.
Right. Good point.
Don't hog the conversation here, Angry Bong, you fucking asshole. You're not giving me a chance to speak, you fucking dickhead.
Or he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I go with a louder description.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been home in 10 years, so I couldn't tell you the state of affairs there.
Do you know anybody that's on welfare that ever got rich?
No, not one.
Exactly. Do you know anybody that got a government job they didn't deserve, that they never should have been able to keep, that did all right? All kinds.
Everyone.
All fucking kinds of them. So
that's bad for me to say because my mom does work for DHS. But I can see. Okay, throughout my life, man, I have seen myself from real life experience of knowing people people that think that it's funny that they're crooking the system, and living on welfare and getting away with it and tricking it somehow is a win, when in fact, no, you're just a shitbag loser that needs to get a job, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I mean, because that's my tax money, right? I mean,
here's the way I look at it.
Somebody living off my tax money that really don't deserve it needs to die and choke on fucking cocks or something. But
here's the way I look at it. How much money does that guy get a year for being like that? $8,000 maybe?
Yeah, dirt. I mean,
right?
You might as well euthanize him, in my opinion.
Why should I care about that guy that gets $8,000?
I don't care about him. He needs to be euthanized.
When every day that, you know, the same government takes my same tax dollars and gives, you know, trickle down tax breaks to fucking corporations that don't even keep their money in the country.
So are you saying the rebels of the country are living on welfare because they think that they're entitled to the same benefits that the government is?
No.
Wait. I think we're on to something. Wait. I think we're on to something here.
You gotta let me talk, Neb.
Okay.
You gotta let me talk.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't yell over you when you're making your points.
Yeah, okay? That's part of my persona.
Is the guy gets $8,000 a year compared to the corporation that gets millions from the same government.
And I agree.
Same tax dollars, and they keep their money. So
and I agree.
At least the guy getting $8,000 is spending his $8,000 in country.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
He's generating the economy. So if you give the $8,000 to 100 people, well, that's $800,000.
That's
generated in your local economy.
Yeah.
You give that $800,000 to a corporation, that's sitting in a fucking bank account in the Cayman Islands.
To Walmart.
So what generates the economy? Who's killing the country?
Walmart is.
If you've got a job making sneakers in a factory, or making windows at a window factory in the United States, who's helping you more? The guy that's spending his money in country, or the guy that's taking it all and stashing it away? The real fucking, you get what I'm saying? Everybody's not employable.
Dude, that's crazy. Well, no, I agree with you there. And I agree with you on the other point, which I have not looked at that perspective, and just from the basics of the algorithm, it seems to be accurate. So that degrades my previous thought that it's a rebellion. This movement, at the same time,
if you're some piece of shit and you're living in a low rental, government-assisted house, and you're living with a woman, and you got kids, and you're taking all the money, and you're dressed to the nines, and the kids are dressed like shit, because we all know the guy that does that. He's the big daddy, you know what I mean? He walks around with a big wad of cash, welfare cash, and feeding his kids next to fucking nothing and everything, and he's not, you know what I mean? Those guys are pieces of shit. Don't get me wrong.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
But that guy would be the same piece of shit if he had a fucking $100,000 a year job.
That's true. It's all about intent, bro.
Okay? It's all about intent. So, what's going to happen here in the real near distant future when truck drivers and cab drivers and forklift drivers and stuff all lose their jobs?
Because of drones delivering cargo freight? Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
because that's where it's going. It's going to be drones delivering like tractor trailer cargo freight to other places, which was my idea that is already being done by other people.
So unless they don't come up with some sort of basic income for everybody anyway, what are people going to survive on?
They're not. They're going to starve in the street while robots do their job.
Yep.
So we're all going to...
Well, no, actually the United States has already turned into it, and I've seen a number of reports and interviews and shit about this, is that we're evolving from an industrial country to a service country.
exactly.
Makes
He's
us
over
a
in
third
China
world.
right now.
Which makes us a third world country.
Yeah. Once the majority